they were very dangerous times. I wasn't at school. My father was at the factory. My mother had gone to see my French aunt that day, probably because things were so tenuous and dangerous. And I was with a lady who was looking after me, but I wasn't at school, so I know it was dangerous. There was a knock at the door. There wasn't even a knock. I think they just barged in. 2 French policemen. To give you an idea of my size, I was at eye level with the buckle of their belt. And they said, "Where's your father?" I said, "My father? I haven't seen him in 1,000 years, and you're not going to find him." And they said, "Well, let's go to the window and show us where he went last time you saw him." And I don't know what made me do it. And I said, "I don't know where he went. Probably went this way." And I pointed in 2 different directions. Well, by then I was hysterical, and I could hear one say to the other, "Shall we take her?" They took children as hostages, knowing that the parents would follow. And the other one, I could tell, didn't have his heart in it, and he said, "Well, let's wait and see what the rest of the day will bring." And they left. And only 12 years ago, when I produced a video about my rescuers, I found out that this other policeman had a little girl my age with dark curly hair, and he didn't have the heart to arrest me, because anyone who was arrested that day did not survive. And I wouldn't be here today if this coincidence wouldn't have happened. So that's what your life depended on.